Hey guys, Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, we're going to be taking a look at 15 different secret and hidden features of the brand new cars and vehicles that you might not have known about in the Los Santos Summer Special DLC update. So I tried to pick out one thing from each car, which is why we're roughly getting 15 here, and all of them have at least one super cool thing that you might not have known about. So let's begin with the Mazda Penumbra FF, which the name itself is pretty much an Easter egg to the Fast and Furious movie franchise, and that's actually the two things we'll be discussing in this video today. There's actually two liveries that are straight from the Fast and Furious films, they're a complete parody. The first is Almost Had You, which for the in-game version puts this giant atomic logo on the front, and then it puts this blue and white design sort of towards the back of the door sill and above the rear wheel arch. So yeah, that is directly from one of the Fast and Furious films. It couldn't be more obvious that that's what Rockstar was going for here. And the second one is also from the film. It's called We Hungry, and it looks best if you apply a nice purple paint job on there. And it kind of has this rectangle, geometric, little bit of a wave pattern to it with a little bit of pink and white splashed in there as well. So both of those are very famous Fast and Furious liveries right there. We know Rockstar loves this film. We've seen them add plenty of cars and liveries and Easter eggs in the past. So it's not surprising that with this update and with this car in particular that we saw a few on there. So that's the first thing today. The next secret feature is for the benefactor Glendale Custom. So with the Glendale Custom, you actually get an upgraded pair of headlights. So with the normal benefactor Glendale, there was not a set of normal lights and a set of bright lights. However, with the Glendale Custom, you do have a normal set of lights, and on top of that, a bright set of lights. So your normal lights are the top two, and your bright lights are going to combine and create all four. So I'm sorry that that's the most exciting part about the benefactor Glendale Custom, its headlights, but it is actually a brand new unique feature of the car. Now, after that, we have got the Ducati Yosemite Rancher. And the Yosemite Rancher has a cool feature on there. It actually has a couple of snorkel options. And a lot of people were wondering, do the snorkels actually work? If you applied them, would it give you the ability to take this vehicle in deeper water without having the engine cut out? And unfortunately, the answer is no. The snorkel is just there for cosmetics. Now, you'll understand why we're talking about this a little bit later, because there's a lot of other features on some cars that are not cosmetic, but this one particularly is. So don't expect to be able to apply this and then be able to drive into much deeper water. Needless to say, you're probably going to get your car destroyed, and then you'll have to end up calling the insurance company. It's just a big fuss. So don't really test the waters, no pun intended, with the Yosemite Rancher. Our next vehicle today, or I should say the next two vehicles that we're going to be looking at, are both the open wheel cars, the Benefactor BR8 and the Ducati DR1. And on the screen right now, what I'm going to show you is some downforce factors that show you the best customization options that you can apply on both of these cars. So that includes changing things like the back spoiler and the front wing. They're not just cosmetic upgrades. Depending on what you do, you'll actually impact the car's performance, not only on the street, but in the open wheel races as well. So I'll leave a link to both of these charts in the description if you'd like to check them out a little bit more for yourself, or pull it up on your phone or tablet or other monitor while you're playing and customizing these two cars. It's very, very helpful and will give you a better idea of what customization options you need to have the most successful open wheel cars. Now, moving on after that, it is the Gauntlet Classic Custom. And you can create some really famous cars with the Gauntlet Classic Custom, but the one that probably sticks out the most to me is Richard Petty's 1970 Plymouth Superbird, which is not only famous in real life, but it's also been transformed in the famous Disney Pixar Cars film. There's a character called the King in there, who is a complete parody of Richard Petty. The car looks exactly the same. And Rockstar pretty much gives you the ability to create something very similar to this in-game. Now, it's obviously not going to be perfect, and you could, of course, play around with a ton of different customization options that would allow you to make it look way more similar to the one in real life. But yeah, that's pretty cool that you can recreate such an iconic car that not only exists in real life, but has been created in other forms of media as well, like TV shows and movies and stuff like that. So that is the Bravado Gauntlet Classic Custom. Up next, it's the BF Club. And the BF Club has a very interesting customization option. On roof, it actually has mobile rave station, which is this set of like 3 giant speakers strapped to the top. And I was very curious if this thing would actually work. And it turns out that it does. And it works from a long distance away. So if you're actually outside your vehicle, you can turn the radio station on, and this will actually allow you to hear and play your music outside of the car, which is really, really cool. Now, there is a little bit of a downside to this, is it makes the profile of the car a little bit taller, which means that you will hit your speakers on a couple of things, meaning you might not be able to pass under certain objects. But how fun is that? It actually works. It's not just for cosmetics. That is super cool. Now, unfortunately, one thing that is cosmetic is in the Bravado Yuga Classic 4x4. One of the coolest things you can do in the back is actually put like all these different props. So it looks like it's a party van in the back. Like you can see it, we've got like a TV, we've got some drinks, and your characters can actually sit back there. However, if you're wondering if you can interact with any of those props, the televisions, the beverages, the answer is no. They are just for show. It doesn't matter what you put inside, you won't be able to properly interact with any of the objects back there. So it's not like the Swift Deluxe or the Luxor Deluxe where you can actually use some of that stuff. It's just there to make the back of your party van look a little bit extra cool. So that is the Yuga Classic 4x4. Really cool car, just that feature you can't really use. After that, it's the Lamppadi TGON, and the TGON has a really cool thing that you can do by actually removing the back hood. So you can see the way that it opens, it takes up a lot of the vehicle space. And if you're able to knock that off, not only will you completely remove the spoiler from the back, but you'll also expose the engine as well, which actually looks awesome. Now, really the purpose for this is just fun and experimental. You could easily show up in a car show and they'd be like, whoa, what the heck is going on here? But it's really cool. It allows you to see the engine. It allows you to see the suspension move up and down. The exhaust is really cool because it shoots those flames right up into the air, and you get to see them a little bit better with that. So that's actually something really cool that you can do with this car, sort of a secret customization option that you might not have known about. After that, it is the Coquette D10. The most interesting thing about the Coquette D10 is the fact that your secondary color is going to change sort of the outline of the stock rims. So you can actually create some really cool, fun patterns here just by playing around with your secondary color. I know that's not the most exciting thing in the world, like a secondary color changing the paint job on a rim, but this car, even as beautiful as it is, didn't really have a whole lot of things that were super crazy about it. So that's the thing we had to choose for the Coquette D10. The next vehicle, the Ducati Landstalker XL, I think is probably the most boring vehicle of the entire bunch. But it does actually have one really cool feature, and that is like this panoramic sunroof or moonroof. It actually looks great in first person. It would look even better if you were at like a sunset or trying to look at the stars or the moon. And in third person, you can like totally see down into the car. Again, probably the most unique feature of this vehicle. Other than that, not really all that exciting. Probably the least interesting one from the entire update. After that, it is the Canis Seminole Frontier, and the cool feature on this is you can actually put these fun light bars on the top, which gives it more of like a safari vibe. And at first I thought there was no way that Rockstar was going to make these light bars work, because on some vehicles they don't. But I was actually pleasantly surprised once I took this outside that sure enough, the light bar on top ended up working. So how cool is that? I know it's kind of weird to get excited about lighting features on a car, but sometimes Rockstar just like forget about that. They have it on there, but it never works. And that looks a whole lot better. So when you're driving at night through the woods, forest, off-roading, it's going to be a really cool look to be able to turn that light bar on. Our next vehicle today is the Imponte Dukes Beater. And what's interesting about this is it's literally just the Imponte Dukes, but it's all crumpled and beat up. In fact, there's even customization options that you can get it to turn back to normal, at least a normal-ish version of the Dukes. So I really wonder what Rockstar's thought process was here. It's like, let's just take a fun muscle car, sort of beat up the customization options and, make it for sale. It just seems a little bit odd, especially when some of the customization options they have allow you to revert the beaterness, if that's even a word, and make it look as normal as possible. So again, not really too sure what Rockstar was going for with that car, but that is sort of the vibe that you can get from the beater Dukes. And last but not least today, we're going to sort of wrap up with the Albany Mañana and the Peyote Custom. These are the cheapest of the Benny's vehicles, and the one thing you should know about this is there is no unique customization for these cars. They all just have the exact same Benny's upgrades that all the other lowriders had. Now, their liveries are unique, don't get me wrong there. In fact, that's probably the most fun part. But unlike the other cars, like the Yuga 4x4 and the Gauntlet Classic Custom, these vehicles don't really have any unique upgrades to them. So if you're wondering if there was anything special about it, the answer is really no. But that's okay because they're super cheap, so there's really no harm, no foul, unless you really just want these lowriders extra special. But anyways, that right there is 15 secret features and hidden details of the brand new cars that you might not have known about here in Grand Theft Auto Online's Los Santos Summer Special DLC update. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about all the secret features we talked about today. And let me know if you're aware of any other secret features that we did not touch on in this video. Let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.